Okay guys, now I'm going to show you a few blade handling techniques that are taken from Russian Systema. They're found in many of the Slavic systems. I've seen similar drills being done with sword or with longer blade like the Shashka by Cossacks. My first rule for doing these guys is that when you do them, you always want to train with a training blade. If you are later on down the line going to evolve to a live blade for this work, it can absolutely be done. It's absolutely important to do it at a high level, but it's a sometimes thing. The more I train with a live blade, the higher the risk that I hurt myself, so I should be doing it mostly with a training blade, but at the beginning, entirely with a training blade. Secondly, the training blade should match what you're going to use. So if I use like a conventional aluminum trainer, most of the time I train with something about that long because that is about the length of a pocket knife that I'm more likely to be carrying. If you are going to invest, you can get some pretty decent quality trainers. You know, this is by Kershaw. This has a wave open. It has a good lock, relatively priced, and you can buy the exact same real blade, or most of the good quality knives will come with an equivalent trainer. Now, we're going to look at some basic handling drills. When we talk about body intelligence, we have two basic things. We have proprioception, which is the awareness of our body in space, knowing where I end and begin, right? And then we have kinesis, which is the awareness of our body in movement. I can make sure that I don't stab through my bicep or through my arm or cut off one of my fingers as I'm training. I've seen it all in my years training, guys. People doing all sorts of fancy moves that they didn't train at full speed and full intensity, and that they never evolved to a live blade, and then injuries happen. So in either of my grips, my very first body awareness drill is to simply practice mirroring the body, tracing the form of the body, again not with a live blade at the beginning, just so that I have an awareness of where I begin and end. In a lot of the Cossack systems, this is done with reference to aura and awareness and natural energy, and they probably did this work because they had no other way to explain it. But it's this idea that I know where the blade begins and where the blade ends on the body. And I've seen this drill being done where people will leave it in positions and then grip it with the other hand, or in Cali we had chambering with the arms, working with the hand and gripping, and I think all of those are valuable. Similarly, grabbing the non-sharpened portion, flat of the blade like that, so that even if I had an extremely sharp blade, I teach myself how to grip in a way that I'm not cutting myself, right? So these are all basic body awareness drills that allow me to gain an awareness of my body and the knife relative to the body. Connected to that kind of work is I can start to get into very specific reference positions. My first is my hand, learning how to support my hand without getting close to the blade. Again, I can't tell you how many times I see people grab the blade in resistant training and they do disarms like this and start attacking people. They lose all awareness. So I want to always treat my trainer like it's real. My hand never goes close to the blade with the second hand. I can reference point on the wrist to an extent, right, from the hand to the wrist, but as soon as I get off the hand and only on the wrist, I never want to touch there because there are flexion points that can cause involuntary flexion or disarming and weakening of the grip. So it's either mostly on the hand, or else I'm jumping all the way up to the forearm. The forearm is used as what we often term a hand brake, which is designed to either help me remove the weapon from an opponent or else to limit the penetration. I can go to the bicep. The bicep is to increase flexion and sometimes to sort of shorten the cut closer to my body, create a frame that I can work off of. If it's coming in close, rather than let the blade be on myself, the bicep and the forearm are often used as a compound to keep the weapon at a safe distance. Oftentimes with multiple attackers, we'll be working and that second hand will chamber on the bicep just to limit it and to know where it is. I'm touching myself to keep it solidly outside of myself. And then similarly, I can go to the shoulder or the armpit. You'll see people checking very often, for example, like a jab catch cutting, and they'll be in that motion or using that so that they can launch the blade off their body with elasticity. So that basic awareness of hand, forearm or elbow, around the elbow, anywhere that your elbow sleeve would go if you had a sore elbow, like one of those neoprene wraps. And then finally, shoulder or pit. And the pit can be done, some people do thumb up, like in Silat. I generally do it palm down as if I'm indexing. Some styles do teach hand inside for high frame. I'm not usually a fan of that, and the reason is that if I do it on the other side and I have my blade inside, it either gets limited or I risk cutting myself. So normally the reason I like palm down is because when I go with my knife, I'm going palm down. Right? So I want to have a symmetrical, universal skill set so that if I'm cutting and I'm working, I'm not in danger of hurting myself. Generally putting the flat of the blade on the body or the wrist crook, the curve of the wrist around my body like this. So that's my very first drill, is my hand referencing points, either doing it very organically around the body or else doing it a little bit more systematically. The first so-called switch that we'll do with the knife is using the body. I'm going to lower this here just so you can see this. So a body switch is done this way. I never want to apply the tip towards myself. I'm always going to go past my body, turn the blade, and apply the flat of the blade towards myself. And that flat now is not going to slide. I don't want to risk troughing the tip, and I don't want to risk slicing with the tip. I want to kind of rotate. And by rotating, I mean it's as if there was a screw in that knife and I'm rotating on the flat. So again, I have my grip, I go past with the tip, and I rotate. The reason this is done is that if I want to switch, there are styles that teach just this, switching, spinning the weapon, and then twirling it into the grip. And that's all right under ideal conditions when you've got all your motor skill. But even in training, if I start to get tired and I start to switch it like this, very often the fine motor skill is gone, the awareness is gone, and the knife drops. So by touching the body, I'm giving me more information. It's touching more of my body. I have more awareness. I have more assurance. This becomes like a safety net under a tightrope walker, just in case. You don't want to use it, but it's there just in case. And it allows me to switch. Now, again, not a right away skill, but if, look, I'm using that, there's no sliding noise. That's a very sharp, extremely sharp blades, one of the sharpest things I own. Spartan blades are cryogenically quenched and laser sharpened and all this other wonderful stuff. But I'm never sliding with the blade. I wouldn't want to do that even on my tactical pants. I wouldn't want to risk it. And I'm never doing anything more than rotate. Right? And this allows me to maintain awareness and to not be as likely to drop it. Now, it's not magic. You can still drop it. And I don't want to get too cavalier. I always train this like a blade. If I start seeing people doing this kind of work, they're cutting themselves all over the place. That's not what I want. The body switch allows me to switch from an ice pick grip to an orthodox grip. This could be in the context of, you're trying to work to get in, you enter into a clinch, you get pinned, and you switch it because you want to have different close quarter fighting. You might prefer orthodox at fencing range, but then once you get in, you want to switch it. You might be in front of somebody and you're working with a manifest grip, and then you surprise him, right? He's seeing one type of grip, in this case ice pick, working, and then as you come back, you can quickly switch, and he's not sure how you're coming out. So that little expectation is something you need to train in your pressure testing to get used to the confidence. It could be something as simple as you've drawn your weapon, right? In the case of this, we have a wave open, so this draws, right? And if presumably you draw, it opens, you're ready to work. I might have it in orthodox, I have it concealed behind my body. I'm going to turn for camera purposes. My opponent is on the other side, and I make the assessment that I'd rather switch it to ice pick. And so if you look at me from this perspective, if I'm here, if I have it in orthodox, I have it behind my leg, I'm talking to you during this time, I've just switched it to ice pick. It should not be elbow switch. The elbow switch can be performed from either an orthodox or an ice pick grip. It can be performed from either the outside or the inside. So let's, for example, assume I have my blade in an orthodox grip. I am going to reach up to my elbow and I'm going to slide down the hand. And the idea here is as I slide down the hand, I'm not reaching straight for the blade, because under conditions of stress, when my fine motor skills are lost, there's always a chance I miss and I grab the blade a little bit, slightly get a little bit of the blade bite in my hand. So I'm grabbing higher up earlier so I have more time to miss. Just like when you grab a relay baton, you kind of palm it, then you grip it. You don't try to snatch. You palm it, then you grip it. If I was catching this knife in the air, I would slap it with a monkey hand and scoop it back to my body rather than trying to pinch hit it, which risks knocking it away, and then I miss the grip. I palm it and I pull it in. Exact same thing. So palm to my elbow, which is a reference point, and as I slide up, I can volunteer the grip, boom, and I go and I replace. Right? So that's a basic inside elbow switch. Anytime I switch on the inside of my arm, I will arrive in an orthodox grip. It does not matter if I was in an ice pick or an orthodox. If I go on the inside, I will arrive in orthodox. If I'm already orthodox, I will remain in orthodox. If I was an ice pick, I will convert to orthodox. So inside is for orthodox. By comparison, outside will always result in ice pick. If I'm in ice pick and I go outside, I will arrive in ice pick. If I'm in orthodox and I go outside, I will still arrive in ice pick. So I always want to remember, outside is for ice pick, inside is for orthodox. If I combine that with my body switch, I have a very nice fluid drill that allows me to increase muscle awareness, body intelligence, and comfort with my chosen weapon, whatever the weapon's going to be.